podcast as well as the Lawyers Emotional Intelligence Book Club, and wanted to welcome you in. I go live every day at 8 a.m. Central on these channels to do a couple of different things. Sometimes I come to deliver a specific message and record the podcast. Sometimes I come on and mentor young lawyers, and sometimes I discuss sort of what's coming up in my life and what's coming up with the podcast, with the book club. And today, what I wanted to share with you is sort of a preview of what we're going to be doing on the Lawyers Emotional Intelligence book club. So, as you may know, we go live every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central. The host platform is facebook.com/lawyersEQ. And tonight we're going to be discussing avoiding technology overload. And we have a very special guest. It's a gentleman by the name of Ian Hugh. He's a Canadian attorney, very involved in the American Bar Association, very involved in the ABA Law Practice Division's tech show program. So basically, it's a show of new technology for lawyers. And what I think tonight's topic is extremely important with the prevalence of social media, with the prevalence of technology, and especially how much we've been using and relying upon technology in this whole COVID quarantine situation. So if you want to join us, again, 7 p.m. Central, if you go to facebook.com/lawyersEQ, you'll find if you go to the event tab, you'll find the description of the program for tonight. You can also RSVP to let us know that you're coming. But otherwise, we'll be going live on that channel, on my personal profile on Facebook, as well as twitter.com/attorneydsy, and on my YouTube channel as well. So I definitely hope that you'll join us tonight. No specific message, just wanted to sort of give you a preview of what we're going to be up to. Again, we're going to be talking about how to avoid the stress that comes with technology overload. And that is, I think everyone is affected by technology overload. I don't think it's something that, just hits people sort of in the technology field. I think as attorneys, who I typically, speak to, we use technology every day. We rely on it for legal research. We rely on it for communicating. We rely on it for marketing. There's so many different ways that we rely upon technology, and it's so important that we realize that all of this technology can stress us out, and that there are specific concrete steps that we can take to avoid the stress associated with that. One of the interesting things, and we'll talk about tonight, is and by the way, the book that we're using is Dr. Rangan Chatterjee's The Stress Solution, which, you don't need to have read the book in order to participate tonight. In fact, none of us pretend to be experts. What we do is we hope to use the book as a springboard for a, fuller discussion about the profession, because of course, Dr. Chatterjee's book, doesn't specifically pertain to lawyers. And so what I hope to do is to bring some diverse perspectives to the issues that are addressed in the book. So every lawyer who participates can learn something new and develop their and my emotional intelligence skills. Again, join us tonight, 7 p.m. Central, for the Lawyers Emotional Intelligence Book Club. You can find out more. And by the way, 7 p.m. Central, I don't know if I said that tonight. If you want to find out more, go to facebook.com/lawyersEQ. And I hope to see everyone tonight. Hope everyone has a great day. And I'll be live again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central for more great discussion. Again, if you have questions about, if you have legal related questions, if you're a member of the general public and just wanted to ask a lawyer a question, I'll be here to answer those questions. If you are a young lawyer and you want to be mentored, if you have specific questions about things going on in your office, or you're looking for mentorship on a particular topic, feel free to hop on and ask those questions as well. And then, of course, if you have, emotional intelligence questions, questions about, arising from, the podcast episodes that I do on the Lawyer Lifestyle Podcast, feel free to hop on to this live discussion as well. I'm here for you to answer questions, to have a discussion, and it's interesting because all of us are still going through quarantine. Although I know in some parts of the country you've been opening up. Here in Illinois, we are in phase 4, which means that you can go into the office if you wanted to, but the mayor of the city of Chicago and I think the governor would tell you, if you can work from home, do work from home, and that's certainly what I've been doing, working from home, as you can see from the background here, working out from my home office. And I think all of us miss the face-to-face communication that comes with that is now lacking due to quarantine. So what I'm hoping to do with these live discussions is to provide a little face-to-face time. So if you're a young lawyer and you're used to just going down the hall and talking to your mentor or to your boss or a partner, and you don't get to do that, and you don't get to do that as often because of what's happening with quarantine. And it's a little, maybe it's a little awkward to pick up the phone and interrupt that partner's day. Certainly, you can jump on to this live stream every day at 8 a.m. Central to have a discussion, with me, and would love to have a more fulsome discussion about what's happening with quarantine, how you're dealing with technology issues that are occurring. If you've had any great hearings, Zoom trials or the like, would love to have that discussion as well. What I can tell you is I've had at one Zoom hearing, and it actually wasn't even a hearing. It was just a status where I thought the technology worked very well. It was just typically I would walk into the courtroom and I would have to sit for like an hour, because it's a very long call. The judge takes all of the agreed orders beforehand when you walk in. So it's sort of a long, drawn out process that takes a lot in the morning. And on the Zoom, it was great. The technology worked really well. Actually, what the judge said is, if you have an agreed order, get off the Zoom and just submit the order. So that obviated the need to have the judge look through every agreed order and that sort of thing. So that was pretty interesting. And then he called my case fairly quickly, within about 10 minutes, and we got through what we needed to get through, and then we got off. And the benefit that I saw, in addition to sort of the convenience of being in my office doing the Zoom, was the proceedings were live streamed. So it was on Zoom, but it also was a live stream to YouTube. So if something happened during the hearing that I needed to refer to later, or I don't know, if I needed to see it again, I could go back and look at the YouTube live stream of the court. So that's pretty interesting. That was a good way of going about it. The only hiccup that I saw was there was one pro se litigant, so someone without an attorney, who came into the courtroom for the status hearing. I guess she didn't know that we were doing Zoom or whatever, for whatever reason. And so it was a little awkward. And it wasn't for my case; it was for a case a couple before mine that were called. And so it was a little awkward because she didn't have a microphone hooked up to the Zoom, and so the judge was essentially relaying what the pro se litigant had to say. And so that became a little complex, but all in all, I think I was very happy with the way that Zoom worked out, and would love to hear, if you've had, what your impressions of Zoom hearings or remote hearings have been. I know there have been some instances of, live or is it remote bench trials and, really substantive hearings and depositions. If you've had those experiences, would love to hear about those as well. But yeah, I mean, I've had little experience in that, but I've seen some press reports where I think people are pretty pleased with the way that they've gone. So, what we're going to talk about again tonight at 7 p.m. Central for the Lawyers Emotional Intelligence Book Club is how to avoid the stress of technology overload. So, with everything that's going on with quarantine, with everything that's going on with COVID, we're relying on technology more and more. We're relying on um, technology and especially social media to keep us connected. And so, how do we avoid letting that sort of overtake our lives and stress us out? Because, as you know, and we'll talk about tonight, there are particular stressors that come from social media. Um, and I mean, not only sort of the cyberbullying and the like. Of course, that's a problem. But I'm talking about just the everyday use of social media can be a stressor. Now, it can be a stress reliever, because you are staying connected to people, you are able to, whereas, because of quarantine, you're not able to see people in person. Now you're able to stay connected to people via social media even more and more. But again, there are specific stressors that come with that. And we'll be talking about that tonight. So if you go to facebook.com/lawyersEQ, if you go to the events page or the events tab on that page, there'll be an event description and a picture and that sort of thing. You can RSVP and get a notification when we go live at 7 p.m. Central tonight, facebook.com/lawyersEQ. I think that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you again tomorrow at 8 a.m. Central for this live stream. I go live to, if anyone has a legal question in the community, anyone who is a young lawyer who wants to be mentored, anyone who wants to have a discussion, with a lawyer about, what a lawyer does, what it's like to go to law school, what it's like to be a lawyer. I'm here to have that discussion as well. So it was great seeing everybody, and I will see you tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Central for another live stream. And make sure you join us tonight at 7 p.m. Central for the Lawyers Emotional Intelligence Book Club. For that, you can go to facebook.com/lawyersEQ. All right. Well, have a great day, everybody. Take care.